They make the trek out to Burning Man for a week and a day. After a lot of work, oh, there's a lot of play. Party, 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 drama, 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 bitch, bitch, bitch. Year after year, they come back to scratch that itch. They all say their lives have been changed. After many years, lives have been rearranged. That change is what this show is all about. You'll see the impact of Burning Man up and out. So sit back, relax, and cancel all your plans. These are the stories about the shadow of the man.
Hello, and welcome to The Shadow of the Man. I'm your host, Andy. Ooh, that Andy. Today, our guest is Tiya Coleman. I'm saying it right, Tiya. It's not Tia, right?
No, it is correct. It's Tiya Coleman.
Tiya Coleman. Yes, well, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
So, Tiya, so you are the longtime, one of the longtime Las Vegas regional contacts, correct? And
I am.
And you've been on the Meta Regional Committee. Have you been on it since the beginning, or how long?
No, there are the groundbreaking folks. Groundbreaking folks who've been in there longer than me. No, I've been on the Meta Regional Contact Committee since 2017. 2017.
Oh, okay. And what was the first time you went to Burning Man? What year did you first go?
My first year was, oh gosh, I got a date drop, eh? Would have been 1998.
98. Old timer.
That was my first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we can talk about the details of the Burning Man experience a little bit later, but it's fun to get a little the background on you, who are you? Where'd you come from? How did it all begin?
Well, I was born in Buffalo, New York, and I lived there for a few years, and then my family traveled about the United States. At one point in time, I ended up living in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I attended high school for a few years. And then after that, I was off into the world to explore myself and what I could bring to the world. So I went to college in Utah. It had another name at the time, but it's Southern Utah University now.
Okay.
And it was a home of the Utah Shakespeare Festival. So that's when I went to college.
And then you landed up back in Las Vegas.
I did. That would have been 1998. So the same year I went to Burning Man. I ended up being asked by my employer at the time, which was Tower Records, to come out and run one of their bookstores.
Wow, Tower Records. I remember that.
Yeah, I know, old school. So I ended up saying, yeah, okay, I'll go back to Vegas. At the time, I was living in California, and I really enjoyed Southern California. It's lovely there. And,
yeah.
I just decided, okay, all right, I'll come back. And the rest is,
Yeah.
We know what happened to record stores. So,
so did Burning Man have anything to do with you going back to Las Vegas, or was just kind of serendipitous timing, just happened coincidental?
It was. It's everything happens for a reason. That's one of my favorite sayings. And as it turns out, because I was running that bookstore, I came across that Wired magazine book that was published in 1997.
Yeah.
And it's the black cover with the yellow man on the
outside.
I
have it around here somewhere. Yeah.
I have my original copy too that I purchased that year. And it intrigued me because I didn't think this event took place in the United States. It just seemed a little too wild.
Well, where did you think it did happen?
I just figured it looked so open and free form. I went, oh, this must be taking place in Europe somewhere. It can't possibly be happening That's the United States.
Ah, those French
So
deserts, yeah.
I know. It just did not seem like a United States based event to me when I was
Yeah,
reading through the book. But
yeah.
I was fascinated. I mean, it gave me enough of a slice to intrigue me into wondering, wow, I would be curious to see how all of this is pulled off. And it looks like they've got art and self expression, which was really exciting to me at the time because I come from a theatrical background. So, yeah.
Ah, you researched it a lot more than I did. Like I just gotten like a photocopy of a survival guide in 1996, and my brother's like, "Let's just drive into this thing." I was like, "Where is it? Reno?" Like, I guess we know how to get there, and we just kind of showed up. But so like, did you go with anybody else, or did you have to like round up some friends and or did you know like any crew that was like going or anything yet, or like? Because that's pretty adventurous to just like read about it in Wired magazine and be like, "I'm gonna go there and do that." Like all by
Yeah, I'm gonna go
myself.
risk my life.
I want to do
Okay,
that.
so as a just to go back a little, of course I saw it in the book,
Uh,
but I started asking around.
ah,
And I, at the time, as a distributor, I had it with Tower. I had a lot of, I should say, I had a lot of opportunities as a buyer. Could talk to distributors from different places around the country. And as it would be, there were friends who were distributors in California slash San Francisco area.
mm,
So I had mentioned to one of them, I said, yeah, you ever heard of this thing called Burning Man? It looks like it might be from folks who live in San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. And it just so happens my friend says, yeah, I've heard about those folks going out there. I've been kind of curious. Her name was Barbara, and she worked for a distributor that I used to get some of my books from. So she and I kept talking about it. And I said, well, if I go, you go. And she's like, all right. She was an equally as adventurous soul.
okay, okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
we planned on how to coordinate living in two different places, meeting in Reno,
yeah,
bringing what we need to bring in order to make it out there, because neither one of us had been there. But we felt very comfortable if the two of us went. If one of us didn't come back or if somebody
yeah,
went missing, at least we had told enough circle of friends, like,
yeah, yeah.
two girls went missing in the Nevada desert as
Well,
opposed
yeah,
to,
he's the buddy system. It's like scuba diving.
right.
It's like, yeah, you look out for each other, definitely.
But
Wow, so that
as a
was,
side note, I ended up talking to you. I don't know if you remember this, but back
I,
then,
yeah,
okay, do you remember this?
I have a fuzzy memory because we're talking about 1998, right?
Okay, so I
That was
have
a
been as a
Yeah, that was a monumental year for me, I remember. But there might be some reasons why I don't remember some things from that year too.
well, it's okay because as it turns out, someone I had spoken with said, there's this guy named Andy, and I know he's gone to that event. You might want to ask him if uh, he might know something about it. So as it turns out, I got your number. I
Huh,
called and asked you some questions just
okay.
about it because I was concerned. I mean, I didn't just, after looking in the book, I thought, okay, let me
But it's
talk to
funny
an
because like
actual
we've
human
never
being.
like met before, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, you lived in Hawaii, correct?
well, this is 98? No, because I moved to Hawaii like in
So
2001.
okay, so then it would have been no. Okay, so then in truth, I have created a whole fable, I guess, around talking to you
That goes back in time.
where it may have been another Andy that I talked to who was in Hawaii who said to me,
Oh.
yeah, it's okay. I went, I had a good time. You'll be okay. They're good people.
Well, I would say
You
that,
should be
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be fine. And I went, okay, all right. That
Huh.
at least I talked to a human being who had actually gone to the event as opposed
Oh,
to no
okay.
one.
But you think that
So
was in 1998 though?
yes, it had to be because I wasn't going
Oh.
out there. I have more
Oh,
detail.
okay.
So maybe I might have your locale wrong. Oh, it's so funny. It's like I have this whole myth built up around
I don't know.
talking
I
to you.
mean, it definitely sounds like something I would have done. Like if someone just kind of called me up like out of the blue. It was just like, "Hey, you've been to Burning Man? I'm thinking about going to Burning Man. We've never met before, but like, what can you tell me?" And I'd be like, "Oh, honey, let me tell you." I'll give you the
You'll be
skinny,
fine.
like, "Oh yeah. It'll be awesome." It's like I have no idea who you are or what you like or don't like, but it's gonna be awesome.
Okay, so I
This is
have
what you
this
need to do.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and it's whomever I spoke with reassured me that it would be okay. So, after that, I ended up, Barbara and I ended up talking about going, and lo and behold, we made our way out there. I was on a plane. I got to Reno. We drove out there, and it was quite the experience because we got there late in the. It had to be maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, and you know what that road's like out there. It's
Oh,
like nothing,
that's miserable.
pitch
Yeah.
black,
Yeah.
and we pulled up as we were driving down the road to approach where it was happening. I did notice a weird purple glow coming from something in the distance. And I was concerned. I went, what are we going to? This might not be such a good idea. We could turn around right now because you
Like,
know,
surprise, it's really
uh,
Roswell.
it just was, I just had this eerie, you know how it is. Someplace you've
Yeah,
never gone.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Middle of the desert.
Two
Like,
women
yeah.
alone,
Two,
one of
three
them
in the
African
morning?
American.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
traveling in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, just you know, unsettling initially, but once we pulled in, it was dark and parked, and of course, eventually, whenever you fall asleep in a car in the dark, you can't see anything around you, and then the sun came up, and I was uh, amazed by everything that seemed to be happening around me, just out of nowhere out there in the, like I said, it was like some curtain had been revealed. It was awesome.
So how
It was
many days did you go for? Like, when did you get up there your first year in 98?
I believe we went midweek because being rather new to the experience
Oh,
and the
yeah.
event itself, I wasn't going to put in a full because I knew nothing about this event. If it turned out to be a terrible experience, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we only spent X number of days there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I believe we may have gone maybe a few days, certainly after the event already started. And we had at least 2 or 3 days or before the man burn. But it was enough of an experience for me to basically say, okay, this was awesome. I don't know what I just had happen to me, but this was awesome. And I just need to have more of this because it was, yeah, my first year was pretty amazing for me,
So you just
just
did
from
like
what I was
open
exposed to.
camping? So just the two of you guys camped and then you
Yeah, we
like
brought,
meet some
like I
people?
said, well, it was just the two of us. So we had a tent, and I remember I went out to explore quite a bit. And my friend, I think it was just a different experience for her. I mean, because you got to figure it was raining
Oh
at one
yeah,
point in
that's right.
time.
Yeah.
The winds blew down part of our structure. I mean, we didn't know how to do this. I'm lucky our tent was still staked in and didn't blow away, but it was, newbies. But I remember she spent a certain amount of time in the tent because I think it was very intense. I can't speak for
Ah,
her, but I think it might have just been an
like
intense
overwhelming.
experience.
Yeah.
Right. As to what was happening around us, because you got to figure there's not, if you're expecting to go to Burning Man and have rules dictated to you or have guidelines laid out for you, there's not a great deal of that. This is more of that you're walking into an experience. And yes, there are some rules and parameters that are in place,
Hmm.
but you create a great deal of your own experience.
So less cruise
So
ship than more like Lord of the Flies.
not like Lord of the Flies.
More
I'm trying
organized
to
Lord
think
of the
what
Flies,
that would
but
equate
not a
to.
cruise ship, maybe.
It's not a cruise trip, cruise ship, maybe more like a summer camp where the what is it? The camp. directors and instructors are not always around.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
and that
So
kind
you
of
had the proper first year
yeah,
experience, where it's just like it was raining, it was muddy, it was crazy. Like, I love it. I'm gonna do it again.
I love it. Yeah, I mean,
Did your friend
oh,
ever go back?
I do not know to this day. I
Oh,
do not think she ever went back. I'm not quite sure. I do think it was somewhat of a bracing experience for her. Yeah, I mean it's those early years were interesting. That was the first year they did streets. That was the first
yeah.
year if I remember correctly, they had a theme.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
there was a lot of firsts that happened in '98 that of course I wouldn't have known they were first. It was
Was
my
that the
first year as
year?
well.
I think the theme was like time or something, and then they had the clock faces for the streets. Like, was that the first year they actually had? I think so. It was like 98.
Yes, it is. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't have it with me right now, but I just left it sitting on the table. But I have my original map from that year, and I have my ticket. So, I paid $80, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I see the different camps that are just the way it went up to street A, B, C, D, I think, maybe C. I'll have to look at the map again. But yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes
I
to
like
show how
J.
much
Yeah.
I mean, it was really only, I think, just three or now I'm embarrassed. I should have brought my map with me just so I could
Yeah,
look
back
at
when
it
everyone was like
again.
walking around and it was just like, what? It's only like a half a mile to the other side. Like, yeah.
Oh, but that was part of the experience for me. It
Oh
was
yeah.
walkable.
Yeah. I still walk
It
around now.
felt,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed the experience of discovering around every corner,
Yeah.
um, meeting people pretty much at every tent that I went through or place that I was meandering around. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a it was definitely an adventure, is what it felt like my
Yeah.
first year.
So then
Absolutely.
going forward, I mean, so then you went, I mean, have you gone continuously since then, or are you taking off a couple of years here and there, or like,
I've missed 2 years, so it's been a total of
wow,
what, 24 that I've gone. So,
wow.
out of that, yeah.
And have you consistently been with like the same group, or have you kind of moved around different camps, or have you started any camps, or?
Um, I have solo camped for a great deal of my experience. That's what I enjoy doing.
Uh-huh.
I like being able to, I mean, I have a working life, so I would, leave work, come and post up. I very often would camp solo, but I also would volunteer. So pretty much every year I've volunteered uh, to assist with the event, whether it's ice or gate or um, box office, perimeter.
All the
I
fun
don't
ones,
think I
yeah.
really get. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's part of my experience is to help create the city, to help foster its growth. And I love that. It helps enhance my experience. It's like,
Hmm.
it's a little bit of the whole, they say working man. But for me, it's enjoyable
Well,
working man.
I think it takes different types of people. I mean, especially with like as like regional contests, people, it's the difference between like people who like to go to the party and have fun and people who like they have fun like working the party. I mean, I'm
Yes.
definitely in that camp too. So anyway, yeah, that kind of brings us to your whole like regional contact or regional kind of experience as well. So like
Mhm.
when did you step up to the plate in the Las Vegas regional community?
That would have been in 2004. I mean, I thought about it in 2003, um, but just to give you a little bit of background, here in Las Vegas, we had one regional contact at the time who was Tony Bondi. He's a
Oh
pretty well
yeah, yeah,
known artist
yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
creator in the community of Las Vegas. Longtime resident of Vegas and a legend as a creator and an artist. So he was our first Burning Man regional contact here. And then after that, we had uh, there was like this opening that I kept hearing, oh, they could probably use more people here to help foster community. And I would bother Tony. I'd go, Tony, so uh, can I be a regional contact? What do I need to do? And how can I do this? And I'd love to help you out because, I mean, I could tell
Yeah.
that what people were excited about the Burning Man experience, but it was really just trying to figure out where I'd fit into that puzzle and how I could help. So I I reached out and said, hey, I'd like to be a regional contact. So of course, you how that works. You get the
Oh
contract and
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah,
Well, back
it's
then it
like,
was a
okay,
lot
you're off.
different. Yeah, they just kind of like you kind of send them an email. They're like, who are you?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm Taya from Las Vegas." And like, "Hold on." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
You
so
got the
you bet.
job.
I kind of at the time I perceived what I was doing.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah,
There you
sorry, just a little bit of background noise. I perceived what I was doing kind of as a PR role. I wanted to make sure that I, it was weird in my mindset. It was like, okay, I'm going to help uh, folks learn more about Burning Man, help to foster Burning Man culture, also help to protect Burning Man's reputation and name.
That
I
was a
saw
big
that as
job. Yeah.
right. I saw that as being part of my I don't want to say duties, but part of my duties because there was very, very little information about the event and a lot of, I should say, accurate information about the event
Hmm.
and a lot of misinformation about the event.
Yeah, yeah.
And having experienced it, I really wanted to be sure to put forth all the truths I knew about attending the event and being part of Burning Man culture and
Hmm.
help to uh, dispel any misconception that was out there about the event at the time because there was so much of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I did find it as kind of I'm gonna this is part of what I do as a regional is really just to
Hmm.
help foster accurate information, community building, and helping folks keep that spark alive once they
Yeah.
got home and their brains were on fire after after they had experienced the event, then what do they do with all that energy? So I wanted to help to foster that once they came back home.
So then, like, wasn't there also like Dark Skies? Was that like more of like Cameron's thing, or like, because wasn't Cameron who's your one of your fellow RCs? But whatever happened to that? Like, that was like a regional, I guess we call it regional burn nowadays with Las Vegas, like out in the desert.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we in terms of wanting to foster that great energy that
Uh-huh.
you have out at Burning Man, Cameron Grant, who was our third regional contact. So there was
Oh,
myself,
okay. After you.
and
Okay.
then there was me, and then there was Cameron.
Okay.
And Cameron had come from Florida, so he had
Yeah.
some experience with Burning Man prior to coming to Las Vegas. So when he thought it would be great if we could have an event that would happen here, and he helped to really kind of jumpstart our regional events that occurred here in the Las Vegas area.
Hmm.
So we started out with Dark Skies, and that was in the early 2000s. Then we had, and the goal was to have like a Dark Skies every what's the word? I think every 6 months, but that was not a reality that could be executed. So it ended up that it turned out to be like a once a year experience. Um, but it was great to participate in the growth of that event. I mean, I was for me, communication is a big thing, as I feel it is with you as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Of
yeah,
course. Yes.
yeah. So one of the I wanted to make sure I fostered good uh, exchange of information about the event
Hmm.
while
Hmm.
people were at the event itself and then also on their way to the event. So I created a newspaper. I was
Oh, really?
inspired by Tis
Wow.
Clear to create a newspaper for our regional events
Ah,
here because
wow.
you we're dealing with hold on a second. Sorry.
No
So
way.
we're dealing with a group of folks who we're kind of off the grid whenever we do these events, but, which leaves you open to a lot of misinformation
Oh
happening.
yeah, yeah.
It was important for me to help build more of a sense of community by creating this newspaper as a unifying force to distribute information. So I created the Lights. So that was our newspaper
Ah.
for all of our regional events up until we stopped doing the
Yeah, I was gonna say
singularity
how
events.
well, how long is it you guys still have the newspaper around now, or have you moved to like
No,
social
as I was
media
going to
or
say, to I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but so we did Dark Skies. Then we did a multi-regional event called Dark Sky Singularity, where we had
oh yeah.
multiple uh, regions participate in
Uh-huh.
our regional event, which was a pretty awesome experience. So I did the newspaper up through about four different events, and then of course we didn't have we stopped doing Dark Skies, Singularity, those events, and then we had a new iteration of our regional events that was created by a different group called uh, Forgotten City. So Forgotten
Oh.
City occurred, and then after that, we had a one-off event called Event Horizon, and now we're at the new name for our current regional event is Synergy, Southern Nevada
Oh.
Regional Gathering.
Oh
So,
wow.
it's interesting to see what started way back then in the early 2000s and what is kind of still manifesting in our community, which is just a desire to gather as a group and really, you know, build our own little mini Burning Man event
Well, a bit of us
in
go
our
through
own backyard.
cycles too, right? Like I mean, imagine also just imagine like with Cameron involved, so like it gets like bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it gets like kind of crazy, and then kind of things maybe get smaller, and then I don't know, it kind of goes up and down. I mean, was it kind of like that,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the evolution of anyone. I mean, of any event in any
Hmm.
community. I think you have event organizers and creators who come in, they have the concept, they're excited, they can do it, and then their life changes, transitions happen, and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah.
another group comes in and creates an event and energy, and hopefully, as it were, our community's been very supportive of the different iterations of regional events that have occurred here, and uh, Vegas is one thing, if not supportive of its regional events.
Hmm.
They our community base here is just always excited to let's gather, let's create, let's support. That's one thing I've always loved about Las Vegas and how
Is
our Burning Man community here activates.
so is Vegas more of like more of a stable burner community, like or more of a transitory like burner community? Like here in Hawaii, like there's very transitory. Like people kind of just come and go, and it's kind of hard to. But I was wondering like what Vegas was like.
Well, I would say we have a core group of folks that have consistently been in our community for now, I guess, years. But we are open to the stranger. We are,
Oh yeah.
because we are a tourist, destination. We have folks who move here for a few years, enjoy our hospitality as burners, and then move on to their next destination. So I would say we're more, I don't want to say it's like 50-50, but it's more of a 60-40. So we've got a
Mhm.
stable group of community members here at Burners that participate and
Mhm.
engage all the time. And then we have a lot of folks who just come in and out.
That's
But
great. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it's important to know that you've got to have that kind of flux of creative energies from people and
What kind of
volunteer.
refreshes? Yeah, like different people kind of come
Yeah,
in and like yeah. Yeah.
sure. And nobody gets, you don't want burnout in your community and you want fresh
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
ideas to be born. I mean,
Hmm.
we've done, some of the things that I don't want to take it for granted. What we've done here. I mean, but we had a city burn that
Uh-huh.
happened here based on the core projects. We
Oh
had
yeah,
we
yeah.
burned Lucky Lady Lucy in part of downtown Las Vegas, which was unheard of at the time,
Really? Wow.
and it was uh, a, it was funny because I don't think Las Vegas knew what they were going to experience at the time, but it turned out to be pretty amazing for a lot of people involved. It was the kind of experience or event that you as community members can look back on and go, "Wow, we really accomplished that. That was pretty amazing. I guess we can do quite great things if we put our mind to it."
Oh yeah.
And I hope that a lot of communities around the world, when it comes to burners creating events or um, pieces of art or doing social interaction, either like Burners Without Borders or something along those lines, they
Hmm.
can look back once they've done with the project and go, wow, we really accomplished that. This is great. This is great. This is what happens when we pull together as a
Yeah, look
community.
what we've done together. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. And then also like tell me about like your experience in the meta regional committee. Like what exactly does the meta regional committee do? I mean, I remember when it was like first formed, it was kind of idea was almost like a kind of like a think tank kind of thing, or I don't know. I mean, I guess it's now it's like it's officially just kind of like helping with like conflict resolution sort of things. That's one part, or maybe I don't know. You tell me like what. So it's like what's I think there's a number of things that the Meta Regional Committee does, but I don't know if you tell me like in your words what you think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh, I Meta Regional Contacts, the committee, I believe we help to foster the one term they use is we network the network, but we foster support and um, help to nurture larger communication between the, you know, the burner who just goes and doesn't participate,
Hmm.
maybe outside of Burning Man, to those who, are gung ho and really volunteer all the time, to regional contacts who are hardworking and always laboring at trying to build community.
Hmm.
We listen to all those voices, and we then talk back to the org with what we've heard, let's say, within the community. We serve the global network in that, you have a regional contact who's taking care of their specific region. As a meta regional contact, we have a perspective that's much more global. So we are looking to not only serve our local communities, like, because not all regional contacts I'm sorry, not all meta regional contacts are still regional contacts. Some are just meta regional contacts. So I'm, you can assume that their perspective is certainly more globally projected in that.
Hmm.
All right, so what's happening in, let's pick a country. Let's say, okay, so what's happening in Australia right now? What can we do to help foster growth in Australia? Can we Let's speak directly to those regional contacts and see how things are going in their individual communities. What can we do to offer support to them? In Europe, reaching out, like they just had the European
The summit.
leadership summit
Yeah, yeah.
that took place there to help support and build community there in Europe,
Hmm.
where there is, I mean, you got to figure within those communities, there's a lot of uh, different perspectives culturally, what they're dealing with socially, politically. So, how does that work within the Burning Man ethos? How do how do their perspectives marry with what we could, I guess you could say, is somewhat American centric
Hmm.
Burning Man perspective? How do we merge those together to offer support? So I can only speak for myself when I say my job as a meta regional contact really is to help connect those dots, to listen to those voices that may not feel like they're being heard and help amplify them to either, to the org or to their local community to help say, look, we support you. what else do you need from us to help bring your vision to life?
Hmm.
Do you need one of us to do you need more materials from us in the way of how to run a meeting, or are you dealing with conflict? Well, we have, which I'm a member of, is the Meta Conflict Support Subcommittee.
Hmm.
So, being a member of that committee, we're able to, I'm able to offer assistance when conflict does arise. Uh, when regional contacts are dealing with difficulties either within their own communities or trying to foster a better connections with each other as regional contacts. I mean, it just depends on what the need is. Being on the conflict committee and being a regional contact, you're trying to see what you can do to help meet those needs of these frankly tireless volunteers that
Yeah.
regional contacts are. you know,
Yeah.
tireless, unpaid volunteers who are passionate and committed, and sometimes just need to know that they're not alone and could really use some support. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's
that's
really
what I
important.
enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very, very important role. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've found out quite a lot about you and your experience. I mean, so what is your shadow of the man? You know, it's like, what change or transformation have you noticed in your life, like after encountering the Burning Man community?
I would say for me,
Or
absolutely.
how would also you have changed the community itself too? I mean, it's a two-way street, you know?
Ooh,
Yeah,
monkey wrench.
yeah, yeah.
uh, um, well, two things. One, I like to think that for me, Burning Man has been the kind of experience where I've been able to kind of check myself and go, are you living authentically? Do you feel like you're
Hmm.
self-expressing on a level that is extremely authentic to whom you are?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Burning Man helps me do that check-in for myself. It also lets me know that people who are like myself, I think, who have multiple disciplines, that there is a place for you to
Hmm.
express those various creative personalities of yourself. So, I mean, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm an actor, I'm a sculptor, I'm an
Wow.
artist. I'm a cartoonist. I do all these things. Where can I do these things and not feel uncomfortable about doing these things?
Hmm.
Because life often makes you mute aspects of yourself.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
you know, just because of work, just because of um, a family structure, whatever
Hmm.
is in your life that requires you to maybe focus in a different way and not
Hmm.
always self-express creatively. Those
Hmm.
things are needed. That's important. But it's also important not to forget who you are as a creator. And Burning Man for me helps to I remind myself every time that I connect with other
Hmm.
burners. Man, we're clever people. It's like, man, check that out. I love the unique perspectives of
Mm.
creation that I
Oh
see
yeah,
come from
yeah,
other people who are from other burners, I should say.
yeah.
I love that. It never stops to fascinate me. I'm always fascinated by
Oh yeah. I mean, we feed off each other and like, yeah, and help each other out. But also, I was just struck by like what you were saying. You know, like, it, it almost like Bernie Man kind of helps you to have that route of like self-expression, whereas like in your ordinary daily life, and I could see like, you know, family members or bosses be just like, what is this? You're not making money off this. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you sculpting that thing? Why are you writing that cartoon? It's like, you know, what's it? It's not productive. Like, what's it good for? You know, but
it.
something
Yeah,
like Burning Man is just like, well, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for my self-expression. It's just like, I don't care if nobody sees it or if like, or if one person's,
right,
you know, yeah. But it's kind of
right.
creating that like opportunity, you know, for you to just be like, this is your chance, do what you want to do. And it's like, you know what? I do have an idea for everyone might think it's ridiculous, you know, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm gonna
But
do it.
it's my idea,
That's
and
right.
I'm going to do it. And I may be the only one. It's like when I hear singers say that they write a song for themselves. It's very true. You create work for yourself to bring
Hmm.
yourself joy. And then if other people get enjoyment out of it, that's
Hey,
lovely.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
cherry on
Absolutely.
top. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, when we had talked previous to this, you had said you wanted to also like talk about one final thing, which was you've been consistently going to Burning Man, like you've missed what 2 years, like since 1998. I'm not even sure those are like the years that they didn't happen, or was that 20 and 21? Were those the 2 years you
Yeah.
missed, or
No, it was just they were like 1 year
oh,
here and 1 year there, that
okay,
type of thing. And not
yeah.
consistently, but I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I
well,
mean
you've
it's
been consistent. Like I went this year, 2024, but like my last year was 2011. So like I skipped the whole like sold out kind of phase of burning. Yeah. I mean, 2011 it did sell out like a month beforehand or something, but all the
Mhm.
other previous years, it was. I mean, even up to that point, like it was basically. I wouldn't call it a sellout year because they were still selling tickets. Like it wasn't. I mean, the next year they moved to like a lottery system and then like directed ticket sales and I don't know. So yeah, I made a little list of some things I found were different. You know, my joke at Brady Band this year was kind of like the Rip Van Winkle. I kind of like woke up and I came back and like what's going on here? So 2011, it's the population was almost 54,000, right? This year,
Yes.
I'm not sure they really have the numbers, but like I remember like on Wednesday or Thursday, they were like it was something like 62 or in change or something. So I thought it would they say it's somewhere around the vicinity of 70 or something this year. Maybe overall
Wow.
like sales take out. I'm like, oh. I mean, maybe like on the play at any one point in time, maybe it was like in the
Sure.
60s or something. Because there were actually a fair amount of people who left like early, I was noticing. We even
I
had,
did notice that too. I did
yeah.
notice that as well. Well, then here's my question to you out of curiosity.
Uh-huh.
Did it feel like 2011 based on the numbers that you just kind of rough estimate? Did it feel like the numbers were similar?
I mean, I don't know. It's just like, what's the difference between 54,000 and like 62,000? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it kind of felt this. I mean, in terms of the raw numbers, I was like, ah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, but also I think Brittany meant like we talk about like the lettered streets. Like, I don't think it went up to J. Maybe it was
Um,
G,
yeah, no, of course.
like F or
Yeah, more streets.
G or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we need
So,
to look that up.
but. Well, the thing is, the more streets, even the more population, it would still seem like it's the same, like so. I mean, it didn't seem like it was that crowded. I mean, I heard stories from people telling about like the past number of years, or like 2019, I guess was like the peak in terms of like the population, and I had people telling stories of just like, oh, there's just crowds of people everywhere. Like Exodus would take like
Yeah.
9 hours to get in, or 12 hours to get out, or something. It's like, wow. And this year, I think the Exodus time was like 2 to 3 hours or something, or like, and there was,
Dep- yeah, it's like depending on when you left, I think it was
yeah,
we had an exodus of
yeah,
about 3.5 hours. But
yeah,
it, to your point, when the playa is more crowded because of course I've been there the years that you can tell there's more people in the city. You just
yeah.
notice that the Esplanade is more packed. You notice
Ah,
bicycle jams on the Esplanade. You see, instead of just a smattering of lights, you see a sea of lights when you look out to the playa. It just seems much more like a moving, colorful collage that you're like,
I don't
okay,
know. It
that's how
seemed
you're
like a
able to
lot of lights
gauge.
to me.
But
And
just
more than that?
imagine it more magnified. That's how you know. You're like, wow, there's a lot of people here this year. You can.
Wow.
That's usually how I'm able to gauge. Do I get into a traffic jam on Esplanade? All right, then there's a lot of people here this year.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. The next thing on my list was cigarettes. I noticed. Well, I used to smoke. I haven't smoked in like a number of years, but back in 2011, I mean, just like within our camp, like I mean, there was like ashtrays everywhere. Like everybody smoked. That was like one of the core like jobs in the camp, or just, it was like cleaning up cigarette butts, and oh, the wind is whipping up, like get all the cigarette butts, and just like, and also like just moving around, being out in the open playa, it's like, oh, they would just be cigarette butts, and I'd be constantly like picking up cigarette butts, and I would have like a little Altoids tin. We had a bunch of them called like butt
Yes.
boxes, and I mean, this year, like I think I picked up one cigarette butt, like walking out in the playa. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
most of the people in the camp, like I actually brought some cigarettes because I was like, oh, I'm gonna give them away, like a playa gift. Like I couldn't give them away. I just left them on the bar, and for like 2 days, like not no one took a single one.
Nobody took it.
Like, yeah,
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 that is definitely a difference. I'd say that
yeah.
probably has a lot to do with just changing social habits of people smoking, but also
True,
people
true.
using vapes more,
That's
not
true.
smoking, but using
Yeah,
vapes.
yeah.
And
People getting older.
more along the lines of acculturation too. Just don't
Yeah,
move. Pick your stuff up.
yeah, yeah,
Clean up
exactly.
after yourself.
Let's see what other stuff. Oh, LEDs and lighting and stuff. Like that's definitely is like a totally different world. Like everything is just glow. And before it was like glow sticks, there may be something EL wire, but I don't think I
Yeah.
saw a single glow stick like at all. Like yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's like, I don't think I saw a glow stick at all this year either. Now that you
I
say
mean, it used
that.
to be like ubiquitous, like those bracelets, and people would like, make little hats and all sorts of things. I mean, people make
Oh,
entire
sure.
outfits with just made out of like glow sticks, and they would just be, I remember they'd be like littering the camp. I remember we would we would like at nighttime like make a bunch of glow sticks, and then we put them on the ground and make like little arrows. We'd like this way to our camp, like.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Yeah,
And then,
it's you say that, and I I would say I noticed that more than anything is just proliferation of more light
yeah,
over the years as it's gotten brighter and brighter and brighter. One, because nobody wants to get run over because they can't see you in the dark when you're
yeah.
walking around with your bike
Hmm.
or on your bike. So there's definitely been more education surrounding. Please make sure you're lit when you're out riding at night.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
also a fashion statement. I mean, the way that technology has evolved that you can have LEDs and in your you can have them incorporated in your costume or
Hmm.
where whatever you're wearing. That certainly has helped foster much more interesting costumes.
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
know,
yeah, definitely.
it's been a both a from a standpoint of safety and necessity to a fashion statement and
Hmm.
a way to trick out your costume or vibe while
Oh
you're out
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like art cars, it's like you have your daytime, you have your nighttime.
Yes.
Yeah. That brings me the bike thing is my next one was well, at least the e-bikes. I mean, I think
Mhm.
2011, like it might have been a few e-bikes. I mean, definitely a lot of bikes, but like
Mhm.
now I think just everybody has an e-bike or some sort of like electronic, like one of those wheelie things or like the one wheel thing, like, you know, but it seems like everybody was just pretty much biking around. Like, I mean, I was like one of the few people actually like walking. Like we talked about before, like walking around. I mean, yeah,
Sure.
I feel like you get like a different experience. I mean, I can just kind of walk up on art and I can kind of like take it in and I think I took a lot of like really cool pictures, you know, but hard to
Yeah,
do
there
that.
was definitely I mean, I noticed, I think last year there was certainly a growth in the number of e-bikes you saw on Playa.
Hmm.
This year I saw, of course, the same, an increase, but, I think I saw more people on bikes than on e-bikes. That was
Uh,
satisfying to me, just to see people roughing it out and riding their bike around as opposed to
yeah.
heading out on a e-bike,
Hmm.
because it's really the most practical way to get around is to be on. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about charging anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, does anyone really want to steal your like little playa bike? Or they want to steal the e-bike, right?
They will
Yeah.
steal your e-bike in a minute, so you got to make sure that it's.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the next thing was theme camps. I think I was looking up the numbers in 2011. Back then, it was more like 10% theme camps, like 90% open camping. And then I've heard, I mean, this year I heard it was kind of more, well, it had turned into like 90% theme camps, 10% open camping. But what I had heard this year was more like 60-40 or 70-30. It wasn't quite, there's actually a lot more like open camping this year than I guess there had been in years past. But
I wish I had specifics of those numbers as that's what I look forward to the census.
yeah, yeah,
You know, I really look forward to the census coming out because there's what I assume I thought was happening when I was out there, and then there's the numbers, the reality
yeah,
of actually
yeah.
what was occurring as far as number of people attended, number of folks who were participating in theme camps, and
Uh,
and that's I look forward to that information because it lets me know the reality of how we're growing as a community
oh
and
yeah,
in
yeah,
numbers. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, just the rumor that I heard that was just more like 60-70 versus the 90, but because that's what the past number of years I guess that's what the census had showed that it did flop. It was like now more like 90% theme camps and 10% like open camping. But then like this year, I guess I don't know. That was just like because I guess early in the week they're like, oh yeah, there's still a whole bunch of open camping, and there were like three or four like streets in the back that were open, and it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. You know. Let's see. The next thing was, oh yeah, yoga.
Yoga?
Yoga. No, okay. Well, way
Well, you
back
got against
then.
yoga.
Gotta get yeah, but I don't know. Yoga was always kind of just like inconspicuous, It's like, oh, like a little here, a little there, just kind of camps. But like for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was just my perception of it, but like it seemed like every second or third camp was like it was like, oh yeah, we're doing yoga in our camp, and I was like, wow. I don't know, it just seemed to me like a more of like yoga explosion. Pretty much. At least that was just how I saw it. I don't know. I'm just not used
Well,
to
this could be the trend this year.
it.
This could be the yoga year because it
Uh-huh.
seems like every year there's a trend of certain types of camps
Uh-huh.
that will, because, you know, if somebody feels like they have a good idea, someone else thinks they have a really good idea. So they're
Yeah.
going to manifest
Yeah.
it. So
Uh-huh.
there's a kind of a parallel with a lot of the same camps occurring at one time in a given year. That can be
Mm-hmm.
kind of funny. I mean, like, are there a lot of coffee camps this year? Are there going to be a great number of what's it? Are like the swag trading camps? Who's serving
Yeah.
pancakes? Are there a number of
Yeah.
how many pancake camps are there this year? I mean, um, I always find that to be kind of fun because who benefits are the Burning Man
Oh yeah.
attendees.
Yeah,
We're the
yeah,
we're the one who benefits because that just means oh, I don't have to go over there for that yoga camp. I got my local yoga camp right here,
yeah.
just
That's
down the
true.
street.
Yeah.
Same as it would be a coffee joint and as we know, there's always a large number of community bars. There's always,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
has that changed? You think that's changed at all, or have you
No, no, no. Well, there
think
definitely
about
seemed
this?
like a large number of camps that were like bar/yoga too. So
No.
yoga bar. Yeah. You can contort yourself, you get a free drink. You contortionist can't.
That's funny. Oh God.
Let's see. Another thing oh yeah, something just wandering around on Playa, just overhearing, listening to like just my surroundings. I definitely heard way more foreign languages, just randomly like walking around and just like different people than I think I had like ever heard before. And just people from like all over the place. Like sometimes I was kind of playing this game where I'm like, what language is that? Like where are they
Sure.
from? But yeah, that was definitely like a welcome difference. So I thought like this year, just kind of wandering around, just being like, wow, it's like I don't just hear the same voices.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. I mean, that
Yeah.
just goes to show I mean, one, it's not easy to get here to Burning Man from another country. I mean, you
Hmm.
think how tricky it is. I mean, I know you're coming from Hawaii, so I mean, you might as
Hmm.
well be in the country at times, but um, just just the logistics and trying to pull everything together, getting your equipment, setting up with your campmates. What do you bring? What do you not bring? I mean, and the fact that they
Yeah.
still make that journey to come here to experience the event on this, I guess you could say, home soil is pretty neat. So I love to, same thing. I love hearing all the different voices and asking, you know, just asking them about their experience and what it's like to be
Oh
at the
yeah.
event.
Oh yeah.
It took them so much to come there.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. We already talked about entry, exodus, wait times. Oh, large sound. That was another difference. Uh, I remember it used to always be kind of confined to like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. But
Mhm.
yeah, what I've been starting to call the sound barges. Like the
What?
like the Mayan warrior robot heart, or like just these
Good.
gigantic, like some of them it's like they have to be pulled by giant trucks. It's like they can't even move by themselves, but it's just like this, it's just the central like DJ and then all the lights and the speakers and it seems like it's not just 10 and 2. It's like they go to the deep playa, but then it was also kind of towed all the way into like almost like center camp like a couple times.
Mm,
And I was just like,
good.
oh, like I thought that large sound was always kind of like out there, like on the fringes, but like this year it just kind of seemed like, I don't know, just sort of like moved around, was like all over the place. I mean, not like internal to the inside of the city,
Okay.
but yeah, definitely coming. I remember seeing it like fairly close to center camp, definitely like between the man and center camp. It's just like, wow,
Hmm.
and then sometimes
There is
because
definitely. Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, because I was just saying, like I camped like at in center camp, and I remember there were a couple of nights where I was like, "Wow, I didn't think it was this loud down here," And then people were like, "Oh yeah, no, Mayan Warrior or something was just like parked right out over there," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that they came in this close." But I mean,
Yeah, I had a
I
party in my backyard.
yeah, yeah, that's just a difference to note. I mean, like I personally don't really care. Um, let's see, another one was phones. I was in 2011, they were not prominent. In 2024, they're not prominent. That was actually kind of a shock. Like I thought there was going to be a bunch of people just like walking around, being like, "There's the man." Okay,
Right, sure.
like, but actually, I didn't. It was like totally inconspicuous. I mean, maybe people like whipped out their phone to like take a picture or look up on iBurn or one of those apps. Like, oh, where am I
Mhm.
going or something. But no, I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, it's just like it was before. Yeah,
I'd like to think that there's so much to engage in outside of your phone that
yeah.
people really want to have that experience of connecting with, frankly, other people, other
Hmm.
learners when they're there. Um, it seems whenever I did see the use of phones, it was more to take a picture,
Uh-huh.
maybe to look up to see where a, a specific art piece was, but not necessarily um, to interact with as an experience out there. Is I'm going to be on my phone
Hmm.
because I mean, Wi-Fi is limited, and
Yeah.
you make the
Yeah.
conscious choice to bring your phone with you, and most people do it to take pictures, I think,
Hmm.
or to use a GPS to find things.
Yeah.
But I agree. I did not see. I mean, I would say a few years back, I noticed there was more of a vibe where you got the sense of folks were standing near art pieces or doing certain things on art pieces
Like
for
photo shoot.
clicks.
Like
Yeah, like photo shoots. I
ah.
remember seeing not not last year, but certainly the year before. There was some of that vibe that I experienced for some. Uh, I would see. You'd go to an art piece to experience it, to really see it, and there were sometimes you'd catch people doing full on photo shoots on the art piece, and you kind of wanted to say, please share this art with other people, and try not to monopolize the piece itself as a
Uh-huh.
set.
Yeah.
Really just step back from it and experience it, hopefully in the way the artist intended you to experience it.
Hmm.
Maybe some pieces, of course, are interactive, but others are just to be observed and appreciated and seen against the negatives um, canvas of the playa, without much else going on. And it's hard to engage that way if there are folks doing a photo shoot in front of an
Yeah,
art piece. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I can think of like no lower thing. Hopefully this has never happened, where it's like, you're at an art piece and someone comes up and they like tap you on the shoulder, like, "Excuse me," and you're thinking, "Oh, are they asking my permission to like, have me in the picture?" And like, no, no, can you be out of the picture? Can
yeah.
you go
Oh,
over
I'm sure that's happened.
there? You're like, what the hell? Like, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, I'm
no.
sure that's happened, and I'm sure they've got a nice
A
piece of cigar,
reaction.
yeah, thrown back at them too.
Yeah, yeah.
I got an answer for you.
I don't know. That
I'm
almost
sure.
sounds like a funny kind of little playa shtick thing to kind of do, to kind of like go around to different art pieces to be like, and have like, but do it like all flamboyantly. Like I'll be the photographer. I'll have like a big like scarf on. And I'll be like, "Oh, Taya, Taya, go up there." And they'll be like, you on the thing, move, move." You know?
Kind of like a performance art piece, in other words.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man. Oh, that would be funny. That would definitely get some reactions. Like, this is immediacy.
Can you want? Can you want? Is that it? Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Hopefully, we're
hear
not
you.
giving anybody any ideas.
Now, I'm sure somebody's already done. You know how people are. Somebody's already done it.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
probably got a videotape. They probably got it, captured somewhere.
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
true. So if anyone wants to reach you, how can they do that?
Oh, definitely. I would love if folks wanted to reach out to me. You can email me at Tiya, Tiya dot Coleman at burningman.org. And also, if you'd like to maybe get more information or email the Meta Regional Contact Committee, you certainly can do that at meta, META, at burningman.org.
So just to be clear, it's TIYA.COLEMAN.
That is correct, at burningman.org.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet. One thing we did not talk about, and I
All right.
would like to touch base on,
Sure.
is um, diversity aspect of being at a Burning
Mm.
Man.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
You know, yeah. And just for those who may not know, I am African American. I am um, here to encourage you to please be part of the cultural awakening that Burning Man can be. If you've not participated in Burning Man like events and you're curious about attending, you can also reach out to me through the email I just given, which is Tiya Coleman at burningman.org. And I can help you make a connection to be part of the Burning Man community if you wish to do so. So,
Yeah. Are you part of the Black Burner Project at all?
I am not. I am. I do know Erin, and
Uh,
I know when her project started and what it's become has been really neat to see how it's grown over
uh-huh.
the past few years. It's done awesome work of getting the word out to Black burners that you too can be part of the Burning Man experience just through imagery alone. People can see themselves placed out in the desert and know that there's a home for them here too. So kudos to Erin for having done that. But I feel like I try to do my part by just being present. I've been, I'm sure there have been times when people have looked and they've seen over the years just one little brown face in a picture, and that's probably me. But I've always felt it's important to hold space, even if you are the only one for a period of time,
Hmm.
and let people know there is a place for them, and
Of course.
they
Yeah.
should come join in the fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that's the reason I wanted you to be actually my second guest. Because no, I believe in the same principles, and it's like I would like to, share your experience and hopefully inspire other people to come. And so, you would see more faces like yours out in the play.
Yeah, it's like what I've been here, 24 years having my burning experience, and hope to have many more years within our burnerverse. uh, basically offering support to people to be their most creative selves and trying to attain um, just a sense of who they are as people and creative beings. So I just hope
Wow.
I can continue to do that more.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been a wonder and a pleasure, and I'm sure everyone's going to love it. And thank you for coming
My
on the show.
pleasure. Pleasure.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
For more detailed information about regional contacts, the Meta Regional Contact Committee, or the Conflict Support Meta Subcommittee, please go to burningman.org. If you would like to know about Aaron Douglas's Black Burner Project, be sure to check out their website at blackburnerproject.com.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on Apple Podcasts. It just helps to get this show seen. Please tell a friend and help to spread the word. If there's enough support, we can do a lot more of these shows and publish more shows per month. If you would like to contact us about being a guest, what you think about the show, or whatever, please send an email to shadowofthemanpodcast, that's all one word, at gmail.com. You can also follow Shadow of the Man on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. The links for these pages are all available on the front page of shadowoftheman, all one word, .com. See you next month for a new episode of The Shadow of the Man.
Thank you for listening to this latest show. We have to make another one, so gotta go. Don't worry, for next month we already have one in the can. Very soon you'll be listening to a new Shadow of the Man.